"They're targeting our engines," reported Minji. "Jump preparations, now," ordered Juwu. "We'll try diplomatic contact another day." But before they could activate the void drive, two smaller vessels detached from the larger alien ship, moving into blocking positions. "Captain," called Communications Officer Hyun, "we're receiving a transmission from a different source." The new message came through audio only, the voice hushed and urgent. "Human vessel, this is Research Specialist Neri of the Historical Archive Guild. The Confederation believes your kind died centuries ago. Your appearance will cause panic. Meet me at coordinates I'm transmitting now. Hurry." Juwu hesitated only briefly. "Feed those coordinates to navigation. Prepare for emergency jump." "Sir, those coordinates are inside an asteroid field," protested Navigator Yunji. "We can't possibly." "The void drive doesn't care about physical obstacles," Juwu reminded her. "Execute jump." The Pathfinder vanished in an instant, reappearing among a dense field of tumbling rocks. Hidden within the chaos was a small research vessel, barely visible against the dark stone. "They'd followed our jump," Minji exclaimed. "That should be impossible." Indeed, the alien ship had appeared at the edge of the asteroid field, scanning methodically. The small research vessel transmitted again. "Follow me through the field. My ship is masked against their sensors." For 20 tense minutes, they followed Neri's ship through the asteroid maze until they reached a hollow space inside a massive asteroid. Once inside, both ships powered down to minimal systems. "They'll give up the search soon," came Neri's voice. "Then we can talk properly." When the Confederation vessel finally departed, Neri requested to board the Pathfinder. Juwu agreed, curious about this alien who seemed to know so much about humans. Neri was shorter than expected, with pale green skin and large dark eyes. She wore what looked like academic robes. "I've studied human artifacts my entire career," she explained after introductions. "Most believe your species either died out or evolved beyond recognition during isolation. The Confederation Council declared Earth a forbidden zone 287 years ago." "Why?" asked Juwu. "We were developing peacefully when the quarantine came down." Neri looked uncomfortable. "The official record says your species was deemed too dangerous for contact. But my research suggests something else. Fear of your potential. Human neural patterns showed extraordinary adaptability. Some elders feared you would evolve too quickly. So they locked us away and told everyone we died out," said Lieutenant Doyen bitterly. Neri nodded. "And now you've returned, with technology no one understands. Your void drive shouldn't be possible." Juwu crossed his arms. "Perhaps 3 centuries of isolation forced us to think differently. The Confederation will respond to your return with force," warned Neri. "They fear what they don't understand." "Then we need to help them understand," said Juwu with quiet determination. "Humanity has returned to the galactic stage, and this time, we won't be erased." Admiral Taejo Kang paced the command deck of the Confederation dreadnought Righteous Judgment, his long fingers tapping against his ceremonial armor. The holographic display before him showed the last known coordinates of the human vessel that had somehow breached the Earth quarantine zone. 300 years, he muttered. 300 years of containment, and suddenly they appear with technology we don't understand. His second in command, Commander Jinwoo, approached with a data tablet. "Admiral, we've compiled all available records on humans from before the quarantine." And Taejo took the tablet impatiently. "The information is heavily redacted, sir." Captain Juwu Park stood motionless at the main viewport of the ESS Pathfinder, his eyes fixed on the endless black dotted with distant stars. After 3 centuries of isolation, the weight of this moment pressed on his shoulders. Humanity was finally breaking free from their quarantine. "Systems check complete, Captain," said Lieutenant Do-Yeon Kim from his station. "All parameters normal. The void drive is stable." Juwu nodded without turning. "Activate the final jump sequence." The bridge crew worked quietly, each person aware of their place in history. The Pathfinder was the first human vessel to attempt breaking the boundary that had kept Earth isolated from the galactic community for 300 years. Void drive engaging in 10 seconds, announced the ship's eye. The countdown felt like an eternity. When the jump happened, there was no dramatic flash of light or violent acceleration, just a subtle shift in the starfield as the Pathfinder slipped through a dimensional fold that human scientists had discovered 50 years ago. The void drive was humanity's greatest secret, developed during their long isolation. Jump complete, reported Navigator Yunji. We are now outside the quarantine boundary. A moment of silence fell over the bridge before someone started clapping. Soon the entire crew joined in, their cheers echoing through the ship's corridors. 3 centuries of containment had ended in a single moment. Juwu allowed himself a small smile. Let's not celebrate too soon. We still don't know why we were quarantined in the first place. He turned to Communications Officer Hyun. Scan all frequencies. Let's see who's out there. Hours passed with no contact. The Pathfinder moved deeper into what galactic maps had once called the Outer Rim. These maps were 3 centuries old, shared by the last aliens to contact Earth before the quarantine barriers went up. Captain, I'm detecting a vessel at coordinates 227 Mark 43, reported sensor analyst Minji. It's large, about 3 times our size. Are they moving toward us? Asked Juwu. No, sir. Their course suggests they haven't noticed us yet. Juwu straightened his uniform. This is what we came for. Open a communication channel, standard greeting package. The alien ship detected them almost immediately after the transmission began. It changed course with surprising speed, approaching the Pathfinder cautiously. They're scanning us, Captain, said Minji. Very thorough scans. Let them look, replied Juwu. We have nothing to hide. The response, when it finally came, was not what anyone expected. The alien transmission contained visual data showing a tall, blue-skinned humanoid with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Unidentified vessel, the alien spoke in surprisingly good English, though with a clicking undertone. Your configuration is unknown. Identify your species and purpose immediately. Juwu stepped forward. I am Captain Juwu Park of the Earth ship Pathfinder. We are humans from the planet Earth, conducting peaceful exploration. The alien's 4 eyes blinked in rapid sequence. Impossible. Human species is listed as extinct. Earth quarantine zone has been sealed for 287 standard cycles. A chill ran through the bridge. Extinct. The quarantine had been more than isolation. It had been erasure. I assure you, we are very much alive. Juwu replied evenly. Perhaps your records need updating. After a long pause, the alien responded. Stand by for boarding inspection. Resistance will be met with force. Juwu signaled for the transmission to be muted. Options. Security Chief Sungbo shook his head. We're outgunned, Captain. But our void drive is ready. We can jump away instantly. Running might confirm whatever fears they have about us, argued Lieutenant Doyen. Maybe we should let them board. The decision was made for them when their sensors detected energy weapons powering up on the alien vessel. Most data on human physiology and technology was classified by order of the Elder Council 3 centuries ago. Taejo frowned. That's unusual. Species data is typically open access. Yes, sir. And there's something else. Jinwoo hesitated. The ship used a form of dimensional displacement we've never encountered. Our best scientists can't explain how they disappeared and reappeared several light minutes away instantly. Taejo's eyes narrowed. Assemble the containment fleet. I want 6 warships and support vessels. Whatever these humans have become during their isolation, they must be contained again. Meanwhile, aboard the stolen research vessel Cave Seeker, Nari guided Captain Juwu and Lieutenant Doyen through the ship's cramped corridors to her research room. My people, the Ardani, have always questioned the human quarantine, she explained. We were a young species when it happened, Barely in space ourselves. The decision came from the elder races. The research room's walls were covered with human artifacts, books, art prints, even an ancient digital tablet. In the center stood a three-dimensional map of the galaxy with Earth marked in red. For 20 years, I've collected everything I could find about humans, said Nari. Most think I'm eccentric at best, dangerous at worst. Why the interest in us specifically? Asked Doyan. Nari touched a faded photograph showing humans and Ardani together. There are stories among my people. Before the quarantine, humans helped us when a disease ravaged our colonies. Other species demanded high prices for their medicines, but humans gave treatments freely. When you disappeared behind the quarantine barriers, we lost a friend. Ju studied the galactic map. We need to reach Earth and warn them. The void drive on the Pathfinder connects to our defense network. If the Confederation attacks Earth, our people need to be ready. It won't be easy, said Nari. Admiral Tejo is assembling a containment fleet as we speak. He's methodical and ruthless. You seem to know him well, observed Doyan. He's my cousin, Nari replied quietly. We haven't spoken in years. Not since I chose historical research over military service. Back on the Pathfinder, hidden in the asteroid's hollow center, Communications Officer Hyun worked frantically to break through the interference. Captain, I've established a tight beam connection to Earth. It's weak, but should get through. When Ju returned to his ship, he found Defense Director Minho's stern face on the communication screen. Your report is troubling, Captain, said Minho after hearing their discoveries, but not entirely unexpected. Sir, humanity hasn't been as isolated as the Confederation believes. Minho's image was replaced by footage showing small stealth platforms hidden throughout nearby star systems. We've been watching the galaxy for decades, gathering intelligence through automated observation posts. Ju was stunned. Does anyone else on the Pathfinder mission know about this? No. Your mission was genuine exploration. But now that the Confederation knows we've broken quarantine, I'm authorizing Protocol Starburst. What's Protocol Starburst? You'll see soon enough. Minho's expression softened slightly. You've done well, Captain. Now get your ship home if you can. Earth needs to prepare. As the transmission ended, Minji called from her station. Captain, multiple ships just appeared at the edge of the asteroid field. Confederation signatures. On the command deck of the Righteous Judgment, Admiral Tejo watched the asteroid field through enhanced imaging. Their propulsion technology concerns me, he told his officers. If humans can appear and disappear at will, containment becomes nearly impossible. We've detected unusual energy signatures from this large asteroid, reported a sensor officer, consistent with powered-down ships. Deploy the hunter drones, ordered Tejo. Find them. Small, fast-moving craft swarmed from the Confederation ships, weaving between asteroids with precision. Each carried advanced sensing equipment and light weapons. Aboard the Pathfinder, Sungho watched the approaching drones with growing concern. They'll find us in minutes, Captain. Can we jump from inside the asteroid? Asked Ju. Yes, but the energy spike will be massive. They'll know exactly what we can do, Sungho replied. Nari, who had returned to her own ship, signaled urgently. I can create a distraction. My ship has research equipment that can mimic energy signatures. I'll make them chase shadows while you escape. That's too dangerous, protested Ju. My people owe yours a debt, Nari insisted. Besides, as a registered researcher, they won't harm me. They'll just think I'm eccentric, as usual. After a moment's thought, Ju nodded. We'll jump when you give the signal. But where should we go? We can't lead them back to Earth. Go to the Scarlet Nebula, Nari suggested. The radiation interferes with sensors. I'll meet you at the abandoned mining outpost there in 3 days. Nari's small ship darted from the asteroid, broadcasting multiple fake energy signatures that resembled void drive activations. The hunter drones immediately gave chase, splitting up to pursue the phantom signals. Now, called Sungho. The Pathfinder disappeared in a flash of dimensional energy, reappearing light years away at the edge of the crimson-hued Scarlet Nebula. "Did it work?" asked Juwu. "Partially," replied Minji, checking the sensors. "One Confederation ship managed to track our energy signature. They didn't follow us through the void, but they know our destination." Lieutenant Do-Yun looked worried. "What about Nari?" "Her ship is being escorted to the Righteous Judgment," said Hyun, intercepting communications. "They're treating her as a person of interest, not a prisoner. Yet." Juwu gazed at the swirling red gases of the nebula. "We need to find that mining outpost and prepare. We have 3 days before either Nari arrives or the Confederation finds us. And if Admiral Taejo finds us first," asked Do-Yun, "then we'll show him exactly what humanity has become during our long isolation," said Juwu. "And why the galaxy should have never forgotten us." The abandoned mining outpost on the edge of the Scarlet Nebula looked like a collection of metal bubbles connected by transparent tubes. Once a thriving operation extracting rare gases from the nebula, it had been deserted for decades after more profitable sources were discovered elsewhere. Captain Juwu and his crew had spent 2 days restoring minimal power and life support to the central modules. Now they waited, watching their sensors for any sign of Nari's return or Confederation pursuit. "Something's approaching," said Minji from her makeshift sensor station. "Small vessel, using minimal power. Signature matches Nari's ship." Relief spread through the room. When Nari's ship docked 30 minutes later, however, she was not alone. "This is Admiral Taejo," she said, her voice tight with stress as she entered with a tall, stern-faced male of her species. "He came alone. No troops, no backup." The crew tensed, hands moving toward weapons. Admiral Taejo made no threatening moves. He simply observed them with clinical interest. "So these are humans," he said finally. "You look much the same as the historical records, yet you've developed technology that should be beyond your capabilities. Why are you here?" asked Juwu directly. "And why did Nari bring you?" "He gave me no choice," Nari said. "But he's not here to capture you." The Admiral removed a small data device from his uniform. "I'm here because after interrogating my cousin, I accessed the sealed archives on human quarantine. What I found disturbed me greatly." He placed the device on a table between them. It projected ancient footage of a Confederation Council meeting from 3 centuries earlier. An elderly alien spoke. "The human neural adaptation rate exceeds all projections. Their technological advancement has increased by 300% in just 50 years. If this trend continues, they will surpass even the elder races within 3 centuries. Another council member responded, "We can't allow that. The younger races already look to humans for guidance instead of us. The balance of the Confederation is at risk." "The quarantine was never about protection," said Taejo as the recording ended. "It was about fear and control." Juwu crossed his arms. "You're saying the elder races were afraid we'd evolve too quickly." "Precisely. And based on your void drive technology, it seems they were right to be concerned." Taejo's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, but I question whether their solution was just. Lieutenant Do-Yun looked skeptical. "Why the sudden change of heart, Admiral? 2 days ago, you were hunting us." "Because I follow the law and tradition of the Confederation," replied Taejo. "The quarantine of an entire species without ongoing review violates our most basic principles. The elders buried the truth and falsified records. That is not the Confederation I serve." Back on Earth, Defense Director Minho stood in the vast underground chamber that housed the Watchful Eye Network. Hundreds of screens showed data from stealth platforms placed throughout neighboring star systems during the past 50 years. "Protocol Starburst is ready," reported his assistant, Subin. "All 20 test chips are prepared for void jumps to their designated coordinates." Minho nodded soberly. "The Confederation needs to understand that humanity cannot be contained again. Authorize the jumps." Across Confederation space, human vessels suddenly appeared near major trading hubs, outposts, and military installations. Each ship broadcast the same message: We come in peace, but we will not be confined again. On the righteous judgment, now under the command of Taejo's second, Commander Jinwoo, alarms blared as reports flooded in. How is this possible? Demanded Jinwoo. Human ships appearing simultaneously across 12 sectors. We need to alert the Elder Council immediately. At the mining outpost, Nari had connected her research archives to the station's systems. She showed Jiwoo and his crew the history they had never known. Humans were unique among spacefaring species, she explained. Most races developed space travel after thousands of years of technological stability. Humans went from primitive flight to interstellar travel in less than 2 centuries. She displayed images of early human-alien cooperation. Several younger species, including my own, formed strong bonds with humans. Your approach to problems was different, more creative, less bound by tradition. The elder races saw this as a threat to their dominance, added Taejo. They've led the Confederation for millennia. Your rapid advancement challenged their authority. But why fake our extinction? Asked Jiwoo. Why tell everyone we died? Because quarantine alone wasn't enough, said Nari sadly. As long as other species remembered you, they would question your absence. By declaring humans extinct, the elders ensured you would fade from memory. Taejo's communicator chimed urgently. After listening to the message, he looked up with concern. Human ships have appeared throughout Confederation space. The Elder Council has called an emergency session. Protocol Starburst, murmured Jiwoo. Director Minho mentioned it before we lost contact. Those ships, can they attack? Asked Taejo tensely. No, said Jiwoo after checking with Earth through their secure channel. They're unmanned demonstration vessels. Each carries examples of human medical, environmental, and energy technology that we're willing to share. It's a show of force, yes, but also an offer of peace. Clever, admitted Taejo. But the Elder Council will still view it as a threat. It is, said Lieutenant Doyun plainly. A threat to their control, not to the Confederation itself. Jiwoo stood and faced his crew and their 2 alien guests. We need to take this evidence to the general Confederation population. The truth about why we were quarantined needs to be known. The Council controls all official communication channels, said Taejo. They'll block any transmission. Then we'll need to be more creative, replied Jiwoo with a small smile. Humanity has had 3 centuries to perfect the art of getting around barriers. That night, as the others rested, Admiral Taejo found Jiwoo staring at the swirling gases of the nebula through a viewport. You could have developed weapons to destroy us during your isolation, said Taejo quietly. Yet you focused on transportation, communication, medicine. Why? We had our wars, admitted Jiwoo. Terrible ones. But we learned something important from our isolation, that survival depends on cooperation, not dominance. The Elder Council will never accept that philosophy, warned Taejo. They don't need to, said Jiwoo. The rest of the galaxy might, though. And from what I've seen, there are far more of them than there are elders. You're talking about changing the entire structure of the Confederation, realized Taejo. No, corrected Jiwoo. I'm talking about finishing what you started when you questioned the quarantine. The truth has a power of its own, Admiral. We just need to set it free. The Great Hall of the Confederation Council on Centrum Prime buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from over 300 species had gathered for the emergency session. The Elder Council, 7 ancient species who had founded the Confederation millennia ago, sat elevated above the others on ornate platforms. High Elder Lom, a tall, willowy being with crystalline skin that reflected light in hypnotic patterns, raised a hand for silence. We face an unprecedented crisis, Lom announced, voice amplified throughout the chamber. The human quarantine has been breached. Their vessels have appeared across Confederation space. Murmurs of fear rippled through the assembly. The quarantine was established for the safety of all, continued Lom. Humans were an unstable, rapidly evolving species whose technological development threatened galactic stability. A voice interrupted from the back of the hall. That's not the whole truth, High Elder. All heads turned to see Nari walking confidently down the central aisle. Behind her came Admiral Taijo in full military regalia, and Captain Juwu in a crisp Earth uniform. What is the meaning of this intrusion? Demanded Elder Vox, a massive insectoid being. How dare a human enter these sacred chambers? I invited them, said Taijo, his voice carrying across the stunned silence. As Fleet Admiral, I have the right to present security concerns directly to the full council. The journey to this moment had been dangerous. After leaving the mining outpost, they had used the Pathfinder's void drive to jump directly to Centrum Prime, bypassing all security blockades. The rest of the Pathfinder's crew remained on the ship, ready to escape if necessary. Neri stepped forward, activating a portable projector. Honored representatives, 300 years ago, the Elder Council enacted the human quarantine supposedly to protect the galaxy, but the true reason was buried in classified archives. The projector displayed the same council meeting footage they had discovered earlier. As the ancient elders spoke openly about their fears of human advancement, the hall grew deathly quiet. This quarantine violated our most fundamental laws, stated Admiral Taijo. No species can be isolated without ongoing review and just cause. High Elder Lum's crystalline skin flashed with angry colors. Admiral, you overstep your authority. This human and the Ardeni researcher have clearly manipulated you. I've seen the evidence with my own eyes, replied Taijo calmly. And I've seen the human response to their unjust confinement. Captain Juwu stepped forward. In the 3 days since meeting Taijo, they had formed an uneasy alliance based on shared principles of justice. For 3 centuries, humanity developed in isolation. Juwu addressed the assembly. We could have built weapons of vengeance. Instead, we created this. He activated a small device on his wrist. A holographic display appeared, showing technical schematics for the void drive. Dimensional transit technology that makes distance irrelevant. We've used it for exploration, not conquest. The unmanned vessels we've sent throughout Confederation space carry medical technology that can cure diseases afflicting a dozen member worlds, added Juwu. We offer these cures freely, regardless of your decision today. The chamber erupted in chaotic discussion. Representatives from younger species approached, asking questions about human technology and culture. Juwu nodded. Humanity doesn't want to rule the Confederation. We just want our place in it. As equals, not subjects. As the vote count rose on the chamber's displays, the future of the galaxy hung in the balance. 3 centuries of isolation had prepared humanity not for conquest, but for something far more powerful, change. The morning sun cast long shadows across the newly constructed Galactic Cooperation Center in Geneva. 1 year had passed since the historic vote that removed the Elder Council from power and restructured the Confederation into what was now called the Galactic Alliance. Captain Juwu Park, recently promoted to Admiral, straightened his dress uniform as he prepared to address the first official gathering of the Alliance Assembly. Through the large windows, he could see ships from dozens of worlds hovering in the clear blue sky, a sight unseen on Earth for over 3 centuries. Nervous? Asked Nari, who had become Earth's first official ambassador to the Alliance. A little, admitted Juwu. I'm a ship captain, not a politician. That's exactly why you should speak today, she replied. You represent the best of what humanity has to offer, exploration and integrity, not politics. The assembly hall filled with representatives from over 300 species. The former elder races were present too, though now they held the same voting power as everyone else. Some had accepted the new reality with grace. Others remained coldly formal. Admiral Taijo approached them before the session began. His uniform now bore the insignia of the newly formed peacekeeping fleet rather than the old Confederation symbol. The Krell scientists have successfully adapted the void drive principles to their ships, he informed them. 6 species can now produce the technology, with more learning each month. Good, said Juwu. Knowledge should be shared, not hoarded. Taejo nodded in agreement, a difficult lesson for some to learn. The former elders are still struggling with their new position. 3,000 years of absolute authority is a hard habit to break, observed Neri. A chime sounded, calling the assembly to order. Juwu took his place at the speaker's podium, looking out at the diverse faces before him. Some species breathed different atmospheres and sat in special chambers. Others required translation devices to understand the proceedings. Yet all were equal under the new charter. 1 year ago today, began Juwu, the galaxy changed forever. Not because humanity returned from isolation, but because we all recognize a simple truth. Progress comes from cooperation, not control. Many representatives nodded in agreement. In the past year, human medical technology has helped cure 19 major diseases affecting Alliance worlds. Alliance botanical experts have helped restore damaged ecosystems on Earth. This exchange of knowledge benefits everyone. He gestured to a large display showing the Open Hand Initiative emblem, a stylized human hand offering a star. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the first 50 joint research teams have been approved. Scientists from 37 species working together on our greatest challenges, from sustainable energy to faster-than-light communication. Applause rippled through the hall. Even some former elders joined in, though High Elder Lom remained stoically silent. But our work has just begun, continued Juwu. For too long, the galaxy was divided between those who led and those who followed. Now we must all learn to walk together as equals. After the assembly adjourned, Juwu found himself approached by a young member of Lum's species, their crystalline skin shimmering with patterns of blue and green. Admiral Park, they said with a formal bow. I am Taz, 3rd generation of the Crystal Collective. I wish to apologize for my ancestors' role in the human quarantine. You bear no responsibility for actions taken before your birth, replied Juwu kindly. Perhaps not, agreed Taz. But I wish to help build a different future. I've applied to join the Joint Xenobiology Research Team focusing on neural adaptation patterns. Your species' rapid neural evolution fascinates me. Juwu smiled. I'll look forward to seeing your findings. Later that evening, a smaller gathering took place in the observation dome atop the Cooperation Center. Earth's leadership mingled with key Alliance representatives in a more relaxed setting. Defense Director Minho raised a glass in a toast. To 1 year of a new beginning. And many more to come, added Ambassador Neri. Admiral Taejo approached Juwu by the window, where they could see the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. My cousin tells me you're returning to space, said Taejo. Juwu nodded. The Pathfinder has been refitted for deep exploration. There's so much of the galaxy we've never seen. The former quarantine had one unexpected benefit, observed Taejo. It forced humanity to look inward and develop in unique ways. Your void drive technology still amazes our best scientists. Isolation breeds innovation, agreed Juwu. When you can't reach outward, you must reach deeper. A commotion near the entrance drew their attention. High Elder Lom had arrived, the first time any of the original elders had attended an Earth function. The crystalline being moved with ancient dignity to the center of the room. I have lived 900 years, announced Lom to the suddenly quiet gathering. In that time, I have seen species rise and fall. I believe that stability required careful control of advancement. Lom's skin shifted to a deep purple, a color Neri whispered indicated profound humility in their culture. I was wrong, continued Lom. In 1 year, I have witnessed more progress through cooperation than in centuries of controlled development. Today, I formally request to join the Open Hand Initiative as an advisor. A murmur of surprise swept the room. Director Minho stepped forward. We would be honored by your contribution. High Elder, he said, using the traditional title as a sign of respect. Not High Elder anymore, corrected Lom. Simply Lom of the Crystal Collective. Age grants experience, not authority. As conversations resumed around them, Juwu turned back to the window. The first evening star shone brightly overhead. "Will you miss Earth?" asked Nari, joining him. "Always," replied Juwu. But humanity didn't escape its quarantine just to stay home. We have 3 centuries of exploration to catch up on. The Pathfinder leaves next week. Yes, we're taking scientists from 7 Alliance worlds with us. First stop is the Veil Nebula, then beyond. Nari's eyes sparkled with excitement. "My replacement as ambassador arrives tomorrow. I was hoping you might have room for one more on your crew." Juwu grinned. "I already added you to the manifest." Chief Sino Historian. Outside, more ships arrived from distant worlds, their lights moving across the night sky like new constellations. On the streets below, humans and aliens walked together, learning each other's languages and customs. 3 centuries of isolation had ended not with war or domination, but with something far more powerful: understanding. Humanity had returned to the stars, and the galaxy would never be the same. Retroclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.